Dudes, look at this. AP News. Look at the top headlines right here. Trending news, Russia, Ukraine, coronavirus, Ahmed Arbery, and George Floyd. Oh my gosh, I mean, like, those dudes, can they not rest in peace? Anyway, if you want to hear more about the Ukraine, go ahead and hit subscribe. Really appreciate it. We're going to get through this crisis together, figure out what's happening. So 20 minutes ago, Russia started evacuating the embassy in Ukraine as the crisis escalates. Let's see the photos they have here, because this right here is hilarious to me. I live in the South, so we don't have subways. And I couldn't imagine walking up and there being a dude with a machine gun. You know, I mean, we all talk about I'm not gonna go into it. Just imagine, you know, a train. You know, those doors open up. I'm not getting on. I'm stopping. Let's see here. They got any more pictures here? All right, we don't know why that. There's Putin. There's the dude in front of Ukraine. That looks like a heavily photoshopped image. Matter of fact, it is. It's a picture of a picture. Is that not crazy? I don't know what that has to do with anything. All right, there we go. Billows from power and heating plant after it was shelled. I don't even know when that was. All right, well, let's get out of here. So, Kiev. Russia began evacuating its embassy in Kiev, and Ukraine urged its citizens to leave Russia on Wednesday as the region braced for further confrontation after President Vladimir Putin received authorization to use military force outside his country, and the West responded with sanctions. I think it's funny that they're acting like now he had to receive permission or authorization from his government. And the rest of the time, the world says that the government's just a puppet government of Putin's. Anyway, hopes for a diplomatic way out of a new, potentially devastating war in Europe appeared all but sunk as the U.S. and key European allies accused Moscow Tuesday of crossing a red line and rolling over Ukraine's border into separatist regions, with some calling it an invasion. Now, here's the thing. What does this have to do with the United States' interest? What interest is there over there? There's a huge interest in Afghanistan. The Taliban is really bad. Afghanistan, lithium, which powers all electric vehicles, all the batteries, everything, is to Afghanistan what oil is to Saudi Arabia. Okay? It's, there will be wars continually fought over Afghanistan forever, trying to get the next generation of energy. And we're sitting here abandoning things we need in the worst U.S. pullout ever. And now all of a sudden we have to go into Ukraine. And the only thing I know about Ukraine that has a U.S. interest is a certain somebody's laptop. After weeks of trying to project calm, Ukrainian authorities also signaled increasing concern on Wednesday, advised against travel to Russia, and recommend anyone there leave immediately, saying Moscow's aggression could lead to a significant reduction in consular services. You're not going to be able to get your passports. The head of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council called for a nationwide state of emergency, subject to parliamentary approval. So a nationwide state of emergency, just like Canada had. Yeah, it is just like Canada. That's weird. Think about that. Ukraine, you're gonna have a war over there. You know, say it's a state of emergency, and all of a sudden, state of emergency gives governments unlimited powers. That's interesting. Just a thought. These were just delays in a series of signs of escalating tensions. Kiev recalled its ambassador to Russia and considered breaking all diplomatic ties with Moscow. Well, I mean, do it. Don't threaten it. Dozens of nations further squeezed Russian oligarchs and banks out of international markets. Germany halted a lucrative pipeline deal. That's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. I mean, here's the thing. So why are they putting these sanctions? Hurt Ukraine. That pipeline kills Ukraine. This is not how you do it. If you're going to be serious, if this is going to be a thing, then the United States has to open up full bore all of its energy resources. And we have to do that like yesterday. If you don't do that, then this is a manipulation of the markets. I mean, it's easy to see a manipulation of the markets. Already the threat of war has shredded Ukraine's economy and raised the specter of massive casualties, energy shortages across Europe, and global economic chaos. Oh, jeez. This is exactly, I mean, this reads like World War II. Even as the conflict took a new dangerous turn, leaders warned it could still get worse. Putin has yet to unleash the force of the 150,000 troops massed on three sides of Ukraine. It's not a lot of troops. While U.S. President Joe Biden held back an even tougher sanctions that could cause economic turmoil for Russia. Somebody said like Russia has something like $680 billion in reserves they haven't used. And you figure that's like a third of their economy for a year. So, I don't think, I think there's, again, I just keep seeing this. This is geriatric thinking. This is 1970s diplomacy. It's not how things work anymore. This whole thing is just, it just stinks, man. There's something to it. I can't figure it out. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock on Wednesday called European Union sanctions, agreed a day before, just a first step. You know, sanctions have never worked in the history of the world. That was a quote from John McCain. He said the only place where sanctions have worked is South Africa. And, you know, his example of where sanctions don't work, Cuba is 90 miles off the coast of the United States. There's a complete blockade of U.S. stuff. It's complete sanctions and everything. It didn't overthrow Castro. Castro died as the dictator of Cuba. And he was in that position for 50 years. Responding defiantly to the steps already taken, Russian ambassador in the U.S., Anatoly Antonov, retorted that sanctions cannot solve a thing. Hey, that's what I just said. In a statement on Facebook, it's hard to imagine. Are we really looking at Facebook to do foreign policy now? Is that what we've come to? It's hard to imagine that there is a person in Washington who expects Russia to revise its foreign policy under a threat of restrictions. Russia's foreign minister has also bristled at the sanctions. Russia has proven that with all the cost of the sanctions, is able to minimize the damage. In Ukraine's east, there were an 8-year conflict between Russia-backed rebels and Ukrainian forces has killed nearly 14,000 people. Violence also spiked again. One Ukrainian soldier was killed and 6 more sustained injuries after shelling by the rebels. So it sounds like it's the rebels, man. Like there's people there that don't want to be part of Ukraine. I mean, that happens all over the world. It happens all over the world. And it's like, usually when something like this happens, the international community comes together and will say, let's make them their own nation state. I mean, look at what they're doing with Palestine. You know, they want to make Palestine a country, but yet it would take them like 50% of Israel. And it's not. They have no border. They were never they're a group of nomads. But anyway, yeah, look at how Palestine, how the wet dream of diplomacy for its future is, and you see exactly what isn't being asked here. Like, if these places are rebellious and they don't want to be part of Ukraine and they don't want to be part of Russia, why aren't we talking about making them their own nation state? I don't understand why everything is a sanction against Russia, but there hasn't been talked about anything about Ukraine. The media has dove into this one-sided, and that's what continues to pique my interest. The rest of this article, I can tell you what it says without reading it, and it's going to be a waste of time. It's going to show us like, well, 3 people were killed here or 6 here. That's all that stuff they were talking about, the false flag narrative a couple of days ago. We got the embassy evacuation is always a big deal. But this is geriatric thinking. That's 1970s images of Vietnam helicopters flying off the rooftops of the U.S. Embassy in wherever I can't remember, the capital of South Vietnam was. This is not. This still has nothing to do with the price of apples in Iowa. Think about that. Anyway, we're gonna stick on this. Keep it up. Godspeed. Pray for us, y'all. If you believe in prayer. If you don't believe in prayer, well, then maybe you should. Till next time, guys. We're gonna step out. We're gonna think some more about this, and we can see what the Russian side is of things. This is the Ukraine version. We'll see what Russia has to say. And till next time, guys. Love y'all. Peace.